Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and today I'm going to be doing part 3 of my declutter. So I've already decluttered my base face, so my foundations, concealers, powders, and I've already decluttered my blushes. So today I'm going to be moving on to highlighter palettes, individual highlighters, and bronzers. So if you would like to kind of see what my collection looks like and what I end up decluttering, what I end up keeping, then keep on watching. All right, y'all, so in this container right here, I actually have mostly highlighter palettes, but it's a mixture of different types of face palettes. So I got highlighter, a couple bronzer palettes, and then a mixture of highlighter, bronze, and blush palettes. And that is where I'm gonna start this video. So I have 4 Jeffree Star Cosmetics highlighter palettes. The last time I purchased a product from Jeffree Star Cosmetics was actually when this Pink Religion collection came out, because I do like the products that came in that collection. But there was a time where I like cringe at it now, where I collected basically everything that came out from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I am no longer really a fan of him or his products. I mean, there are products that I have from the brand that I've already purchased that I will be keeping, but I can tell you now there's quite a few products from the brand that I will not be keeping. So let's go to start off with a product that I will not be keeping. So this is the Brain Freeze Skin Frost Pro Palette. This is just a palette that doesn't interest me, so I will be decluttering it. The Peppermint Frost Skin Frost Pro Palette. Now this one was a big deal back when it came out, and it came out in a mystery box. The only way to acquire this palette is if you purchased the mystery box, and it was the big one. And it was around the holidays, obviously. The peppermint is a giveaway. And this is what it looks like on the inside. And guess what? I'm going to be decluttering it. Another palette is the Northern Lights Supreme Frost Pro Palette. Now, when it comes to the highlighters from Jeffree Star Cosmetics, this is definitely a formula that I prefer over the regular Skin Frost formula. This one's more of like that gel to powder kind of finish. But I'm going to be decluttering this one as well. Now, that leaves just this Sacred Glass palette from the Pink Religion collection. I will be keeping this. I really like this one, and this is one that I want to keep. And I do believe all of these palettes are actually ones you cannot get anymore, which is kind of sad. But because that is the case, if I can resell these for a decent amount of money, I will be doing it. So there was a time where I actually used to collect like all of these Anastasia Beverly Hills products. And I guess with my last declutter and times before that, I actually got rid of quite a few. And I had like all of these glow kits. And looking at them now, I know for a fact that I want to keep this one. This is like the Nicole Guerrero. I actually have no idea who this is, but I absolutely love this glow kit. This is one that I repurchased when they re-released it. I actually had like when it first came out, but I went through it and then it broke during a move. And so when they re-released it, I could not help myself and repurchase this. So I will be keeping this one. But this Moonchild one, I just have highlighters that they are funky colors like this, but that are better quality. At the time, I really enjoyed this to use on my eyes, but it's just they're so powdery compared to other highlighters that I have within my collection, so I will be decluttering this. Now, this one is better quality than the Moonchild one. This is the Dream Glow Kit, and this is what I'm going to keep. This one is not as powdery, and the finishes are like diamond-like. They have like a clear base, but like each one of these glitters is like the color of the glitter. These work great on the eyes, so I will be keeping this one. So I have 3 different Ofra palettes, and I believe these are kind of like a mixture of products. So this one right here, this is called the Good To Go Mini Mix palette. And in here we do have a highlighter, looks like a blush, bronzer, and then these might be shadows. This highlighter in this middle is absolutely gorgeous looking. I might deconstruct these palettes, honestly. So I'm gonna actually open every single one of these so I can see what I have. This one is On The Glow palette. So this one right here, definitely I like this more than I like this one. These highlighters are a little bit different. Tempted to actually just swap those because this one is just more appealing to me than this one. And then this one is the midi palette, Face It, in the shade medium. So it looks like you got like the classic Rodeo Drive highlighter. I think that's what's in here too. Yeah. And then you got a matte bronzer and a shimmer bronzer right here. This I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. So now it's just between these two. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna keep this. I want this highlighter though. So I'm actually gonna look and see if I have a palette that I can pull this out of. I don't know if I should just swap them. I don't know. I will update you at the end of the video, but I'm gonna declutter this one and keep this one. So these are the last of my palettes. And so this one right here is the Wet Set from Kylie Cosmetics before it was bought out by Coty. And these are cream highlighters. So they kind of have like that putty, but it's like a powder finish. Man, I've had this for such a long time that I really don't want to part with it. And I know that's really sad, but I am gonna go ahead and keep this. So this is from Alamar Cosmetics. It is a kind of bronzer trio. I've never used it. I've been hoarding it all these years, so I think it's just time to go ahead and declutter it. And this is called the Hydrating Complexion Trio. So there is like a brightener in here and then 2 different bronzers. So this is from Fenty Beauty. This is one of those holiday items that come out where it's limited edition. And the reason why I picked this up is because it has 3 different diamond balms inside. And I absolutely love the diamond balm formula. So, and I love the diamond balm formula for my eyes. So I am going to keep this, but I'm also going to go ahead and, like, these highlighting products that I don't like to use on my face, but I like to use on my eyes, I'm going to store them in a different drawer from now on because I don't reach for them because they're in a drawer where they should be with my eye products because that's how I like to use them. So this is from Glamlight. This is the Michaela Part 2, and that's how you say part, if anyone was wondering. So this is so I've talked about this before, okay? So there's 3 different funky colored highlighters in there. I do like these for my eyes. I purchased this entire collection because I did like the color story for the palette, and I kind of gave into the hype. I'm not a Michaela Nogueira fan, and I like this product, but this is one of those things that I want to think about because as I go through my collection, I want to see if I have anything that's comparable, and if I do, I will be decluttering this. If I don't, I will be keeping it. And the last product is from Natasha Denona. This is the Bronze Cheek Face Glow Palette, and I will be keeping this. So I decluttered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 face palettes and only kept 6. So I am very proud of myself. I'm gonna go ahead and get my individual bronzers and then I'll do individual highlighters, and I think that will kind of wrap up this video. So I don't have a lot of bronzers. I have 17 bronzers. Some of these are powders, some of these are cream, some of these are like a balm, which is my Makeup by Mario one. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the powders. So these are all of my, the majority of my powder bronzers. And I wanna start off with this one from Marc Jacobs. This was a like cult favorite, an iconic product, but Marc Jacobs is no longer like a beauty line. There's been rumors that they have been purchased and that they're going to restart their beauty line. All I know is they're no longer made out of Kendo Labs. A lot of products that come out of Kendo Labs, I end up loving. Products from Fenty, products from KVD, products from Ole Henriksen. Those are all Kendo Lab companies or products that are made at Kendo Labs, which is probably why I liked Marc Jacobs, because I like the Kendo Labs products. This is a bronzer in the shade Tantric. This I bought because everybody had it and it was just like so iconic, such a cult fave. I bought a shade that doesn't work for me. So I have can you see how this would not work for me? So as a bronzer, I'm gonna go ahead and declutter it. Now this one's from Iconic London. I do like Iconic London complexion or face products. This is the Ultimate Bronzing Powder in the shade Warm Bronze. And I am gonna go ahead and keep this. I have 2 different bronzers from LYS. And I actually use both of these shades. So I use one when wintertime, when I'm paler, and one in the summertime when I have a bit more of a bit of a tan. So this one is in the shade Courage, which is the shade Tan. And then I also have the shade Harmony, which is the shade Medium. And you can tell there's honestly not too much of a difference in these products. I could probably use this one all year round, but I'm gonna keep both. I have two from L'Oreal. I believe this is the older version of this one. This is the True Match Lumi Bronze It, and this is a face and body bronzer. And then I also have this as Bronze Please in the shade La Terra. So these are the same shade. They both have a luminous finish. So I'm gonna keep the newer one, which is this one here that says Bronze Please, and I'm gonna declutter this Lumi Bronze It. So this is a Too Faced bronzer. This is the Chocolate Soleil Gold, whatever it's called, bronzer. It is a very shimmery bronzer. Not something that's really what I'm into, so I'm gonna declutter this. Now, this bronzer from Too Faced, I really do like. So this is actually a two-tone bronzer. This is more of like a highlight, but it's more of a natural finish kind of bronzer and highlight, and I will be keeping this. And it is called the Natural Lust Bronzer. And finally, I have this one from Wet n Wild in collaboration with Care Bears. I don't know if you've noticed yet, but if you watch my blush declutter, I actually had a Care Bear blush as well. This bronzer is very orange looking, so I'm going to declutter it. So here are all my Jaclyn Cosmetics bronzers. Yes, I have 3 because I bought the wrong shade multiple times. So these are the powder bronzers. This is the shade Buns Out. This is very orange looking. I have the shade Vitamin D, which is kind of pale looking. And then I have the shade Skinny Dip, which, man, I'd have to swatch all of these to see what would work for me. I can tell you what's not gonna work for me is the shade Vitamin D. That is too pale for me to use. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this shade. This is the shade Skinny Dip because this does look like it would work for me as like a very light bronzer. And the shade Buns Out, I feel like this could work for me in the summer, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one. Now I have 2 cream bronzers from Jaclyn Cosmetics. I actually really enjoyed this. So I have the shade Toasty, and I will be keeping this. And then when I made the order for these, like they sent me 2 and I only ordered 1. So I also have the shade Sunny. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep the shade Sunny as well because I actually really enjoyed these cream bronzers from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This was something that she should have kept in her line instead of coming out with the powder. I personally prefer a cream bronzer. That's just me. These cream bronzers are definitely better than her powder ones. I mean, does it matter because the brand's dead. All right. My last 3 bronzers. I don't even know if this counts as a bronzer because this is more of a highlight. This is from Fenty. This is a very shimmery bronzer. This is the Chocolate Swirler in the shade Toasted Swirl. This is really shimmery, but it looks fantastic on the body, so I will be keeping this. It's too much for the face, but great for the body. This is my favorite cream bronzer of life. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. I use this almost every single time I do my makeup, so I will be keeping it. All right, and the final product is from Makeup by Mario, and this is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Medium. This is kind of like a balmy skin warming product, and I bought this by accident. And I do like it. I've only used it like twice. When I made this purchase, I thought I was purchasing like the powder skin enhancer. I have that now, but I bought this at first thinking that's what that was. But I do enjoy this product for a no makeup day look, whatever you want to call it, so I'll be keeping it. All right, y'all. These are all of my single individual highlighters. And there's still more that I couldn't fit in this container. I obviously have a little bit of a problem, but I really do like my highlighters. But as I was putting all of my highlighters in this container, I know there are highlighters that I'm ready to let go of. And let's start. All right, y'all, so I think a good place to start are these highlighters. So I do have 4 different Ofra highlighters. This one is in the shade Pumpkin Pie, which I do love to use this shade during the fall. This is the shade Sugar Cookie. This is the shade Peppermint, which this is a winter fave for me. And then the last one I have from Ofra is the Glazed Donut. So I really do enjoy my Ofra highlighters, so I will be keeping all 4 of these. So I have 3 different highlighters from Kylie Cosmetics. So this one right here is the highlighter in the shade Dream About Me. This one's from a Valentine launch, and it has like a pinky gold color to it. I really, surprisingly, I enjoy these highlighters from Kylie Cosmetics, so I will be keeping this one. This one's in the shade Winter Rose. This is from a holiday collection. This is a really nice champagne gold. I will be keeping this one as well. And then the last one I have from Kylie Cosmetics is from the Batman collaboration. The reason I bought the Batman collaboration is because my youngest, his favorite thing is Batman. And I'm going to keep this just because it's Batman. I promise you, there are highlighters I'm not going to keep. I have 2 from Jaclyn Cosmetics. These are I think these are baked highlighters. This first one is the shade Ice. This is a pretty popular shade. It's a really nice champagne gold, which is a favorite for me when it comes to shades of highlighters. And then the second one is the shade Mesmerize. This one's a little bit more pink, which is nice for the winter. So it's a little bit more of a deeper gold with some pink in there, and I will be keeping both of these. Now this is from Becca, and I'm sure you can tell by the packaging that this is a Champagne Pop highlighter. I don't really care for Champagne Pop. Like, I know this was like a big deal, and I honestly only own it because it was so popular. Honestly, I'm not gonna keep it. I have no desire to want to keep this, so I will be decluttering this Becca one here. Now these 2 are from MAC Cosmetics, and this was the 50-year anniversary of Star Trek, like the original series with William Shatner. And this first one is in the shade Highly Illogical. And my gosh, do I love these. This is more of like a shimmer bronzer for me. And then this one is in the shade Luna Luster. I've had both of these highlighters since this collection came out. I do like Star Trek. I do like Star Wars. Those are some of my favorite things. And because I do have like this love for Star Trek, I will be keeping these. So I talked about it with my palettes. I had a lot of, you saw earlier in the video that I had quite a few highlighter palettes from Jeffree Star Cosmetics that I end up decluttering. That's how this is gonna go as well. I have quite a few individual highlighters from Jeffree Star Cosmetics that I don't want, I don't use. And I'm gonna start off with the Skin Frost formula here. I believe this was like the first highlighter formula that Jeffree Star Cosmetics came out with. Honestly, it sucks, okay? So I have the shade Peach Goddess here. I have the collaboration with Manny MUA in the shade Eclipse right here. I'm going to have to pause this, y'all, because they're doing my lawn and there's no way I can edit the sound out, so I'll be right back. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where I left off. Hopefully nothing has changed. So this Skin Frost is in the shade King Tut. So this one is a more golden bronze shade. Then up here we have the shade Mint Condition, which is going to be a green one. Then the last one is in the shade Crystal Ball. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is, honestly, I think I'm gonna declutter all of these except for Crystal Ball. So I'm gonna be decluttering Peach Goddess, the shade Eclipse, King Tut, and Mint Condition. Now, these are the Supreme Frost formula. And with these, a lot of these are kind of a funky color, but I do enjoy this formula that Jeffree Star has. The formula like that these highlighters are my favorite type of formula. Anastasia Beverly Hills has a similar formula. Fenty Beauty has a similar formula. Pat McGrath has a similar formula. Like, this kind of highlight is what I like. So I'm going to start off with the ones I know I'm going to keep. So I'm going to be keeping the shade Citrus Bling along with the shade Crystal Kumquat, just because these are more champagne gold ones. This one's a little bit deeper than this one, but I like both of them, so I'm going to be keeping both of these. I'm also going to be keeping the shade Diamond Wet because this shade is absolutely gorgeous, but it's also, not only is it nice as a highlighter, these are really nice on the eyes, so I will be keeping Diamond Wet. I'm also going to be keeping the shade Wet Dream. This one's a little bit more golden, and I kind of like the golden highlights for the summer, so I will be keeping this one. This Frozen Peach shade kind of looks a little bit dusty, and it's swatching dusty, so I will be decluttering this one. And then these two are kind of like a funkier shade. These are almost like duochrome highlighters, which is a bit intense. So this one is in this shade Candy Apple Drip, which is like a green gold shade. Now that is an absolutely stunning color for eyes though, so I'm gonna put this aside. And then this is the shade Money Honey. So this is the same kind of concept where it's like gold green shade. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this row right here. These are all from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I am going to be keeping every single one of these. So this one right here is in the shade Iced Out, and this is a white highlighter with a gold shift to it. Then we have the Embreezy highlighter, which is, you know, a pretty popular highlighter. I guess like iconic would be the word. I am obviously going to be keeping this. This is one of my favorite highlighters ever. And then finally, I have the newest one from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and that is the Glow Seeker highlighter. Not gonna lie, I picked this up thinking this would be a dupe for the Embreezy highlighter, and even though the shades are similar, the glow is different. The Embreezy highlighter is definitely more of an intense glow, and the Glow Seeker is more of this glow within, but I do like them both. I will be keeping this one as well. I'm also on the hunt for that new one that's coming out for the Lunar New Year. I love this formula, and I love that soft, subtle glow it gives. Now I have 3 of these diamond highlighters from Too Faced. So this one is Chocolate Diamond, which would be more of a bronzer. Then I also have the shade Canary Diamond, which is a gold pink shade. And then finally I have the shade Fancy Pink Diamond. I have held on to these for such a long time. Like this one right here, this Canary Diamond, is the one I've used the most. And honestly, I'm not ready to part with this one, so I will be keeping Canary Diamond. I'm also gonna go ahead and keep the shade Fancy Pink Diamond as well. And for a bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and keep Chocolate Diamond. Now, I do have 3 Pat McGrath highlighters. I am going to be keeping all of these. So the first one is in the shade Divine Rose, which is a pink highlighter. I actually purchased this and it came cracked like this, but when I got it, by the time I received it, they were already sold out, and apparently this was a limited edition product, so I wasn't able to get it replaced. So then I have these 2 from the Bridgerton collaboration. This is the Extreme Gold shade, so it's obviously very gold. And then I also have the shade Incandescent Gold. So I will be keeping all 3 of these. And then last, I will be keeping all 4 of my Fenty Diamond Balms. So I have the original shade here. I have Royal Icing, which is a pastel champagne gold, Rosé Rave, which is going to be a pink gold or rose gold shade, and then finally Cognac Candy, which is going to be a little bit more bronze. I've talked about this before. I really like these on the eyes, and these are great on the body for the summertime as well. So I will be keeping all of these. So I do have these 5 highlighters from Fenty Beauty, and I honestly do not reach for these at all. So I just realized this one has completely different packaging than the rest of them. But these are the Kilowatt Foil highlights. So this first one is actually a duo. And this is in the shade Mimosa Sunrise and Sangria Sunset. These are such beautiful shades. I honestly think I want to go ahead and put these with eyeshadows because I don't see myself wearing a fuchsia highlighter, but I see myself definitely playing with these shades on my eyes. Like, look how gorgeous that orange is and how gorgeous that pink is. These would be so pretty on the eyes. So I'm going to put this aside, and when we go through my eye products, this is where it will go. Now this is in the shade Metal Moon. This is just a white highlight, and I'm going to go ahead and declutter this one. Now this is in the shade Afternoon Snack and More Money. This More Money shade is gorgeous. Honestly, they both are, so I will be keeping this. Now this is in the shade Trophy Wife, and I will be keeping this one. And finally, this is the shade What a Brat. Ooh. Oh, and I am so keeping this one. This one is gorgeous. This is definitely going at my vanity for Valentine looks. Like, yes. So I absolutely love Melt Cosmetics, and I have 5 highlighters from Melt. 3 of these are from the Digital Dust Duo collection. I actually bought the PR box of that, and I did a whole first impressions on them. These are gorgeous. So this first one is the shade Raw and Honey. So you have a blush and a highlight on one side. I honestly just use these as highlighters because these are very shimmery blushes. I will be keeping this one. This one's in the shade Queen over here and B, and I'll be keeping this one as well. And then finally, I will be keeping the shade Buzz and Kill. These are all really gorgeous. So this one is in the shade Phoenix. Now this is one that I got in a mystery box, and honestly, I don't think I will use this, so I will be decluttering it. And then this one is something I definitely will be keeping. This is from the Day of the Dead collection. This is in the shade Illumination, but this one is a pink gold highlighter, and even if I didn't like the shade of this, I absolutely love everything to do with skulls or sugar skulls, and I will be keeping it just because of the skulls. Now this is a highlighter from Charlotte Tilbury that I had a lot more expectations from. This is the Glow Glide Face Architect highlighter, a fucking mouthful, Charlotte Tilbury. This is in the shade Pillow Talk. I like this. I had higher expectations for it, but honestly, for the cost of it, I will not be decluttering it. It's a very subtle glow product. I have 2 different highlighters from About Face, which is Halsey's makeup brand. These are the Light Lock Powder Highlights, and this first one is in the shade Ice Dusted. This is a white highlighter with kind of a green shift to it, and I will be keeping this one. And then this one is in the shade Stay in Bed. This one's a little bit more pink, and I will be keeping that one. And then last in this section of highlighters, this is from Huda Beauty. This highlighter is gorgeous and massive. This is the Not Your Mother's Pantyhose All Over Glow in the shade Helios. This is supposed to be a body highlight. I will be keeping this because this is a gorgeous highlight in the type of formula I love, but it's perfect for the body. I am running out of places to swatch, but it's just gorgeous, so I will be keeping this. So here are my more affordable highlighters. So I got quite a few ColourPop highlighters over here, some Wet n Wild, Lottie London, and Wet n Wild. Oh, look, 3 Wet n Wild. So I'll start off with the ColourPop, and I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a body highlight just like the last one I did. This is the collaboration with Barbie, and this is the Super Shock highlighter in Beach Party. I really wish ColourPop would change their components. Their components are pretty difficult to open. This is a gorgeous champagne gold in their Super Shock formula, which is a really nice formula for highlight, blush, shadow, everything. I love a champagne gold highlight. And this highlighter is gorgeous on the face and the body, so I will be keeping it. I also have this adorable Rudolph collaboration. I don't know if this highlighter was re-released when they re-released like the palette and the lip products, but I will be keeping this one. It's got a really pretty pink tone to it, and I've mentioned this already, but I love a pink toned highlighter for winter looks. I have 2 of these pressed powder highlights in these beautiful heart components. I love the heart components. I know that ColourPop just released some cream blushes in the same type of component. This one is in the shade of Heart of Gold, which is a pretty pink highlight. I will be keeping this one. And then I also have the shade In My Feels, which is a beautiful lavender highlight. And I believe this might be my only lavender highlight, so I will be keeping this. So I have these 3 highlighters. These are from the Harry Potter collaboration, and these are all super shock highlighters as well, just like the Barbie one. So this first one is in the shade Dobby. And then I also have the shade Buckbeak and the shade Hedwig. Oh, I do have another lavender. Okay, this is more icy. This is definitely icy. I will be keeping all of these. So I purchased this back, I think just before Halloween. This is the Lottie London collaboration with Vampire Diaries. Everyone's going crazy about this Twilight collaboration that ColourPop's doing. I am not a Twilight girl. I am a Vampire Diaries girl. More specifically, I am a Damon Salvatore kind of girl. So I picked this up because it was Vampire Diaries. And this is got a beautiful glittery glow to it. I've used it a couple times, but honestly, I'm keeping it because it's Vampire Diaries. Now the rest of these are from Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Blossom Glow. So this is a beautiful pink highlight. Man, I am running out of places to swatch. And then I also have the shade Precious Petals. So this one's definitely more golden. I honestly can't decide if I want to keep these or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them for now. And when I go through my makeup again at the end of the year, or maybe just the beginning of next year, if I haven't used them by then these are products that I definitely will be decluttering. But I'm going to keep them for now. And then I also have this one from Wet n Wild. And this is Let Your Light Shine. This is a collaboration with Care Bears. And this one's a golden highlight. And I will be keeping this because I decluttered the blush and the bronzer from this collection, but I'm going to keep the highlighter because my dog that passed away in December, she would carry Care Bears around the house, and I want to keep something from this collection to just because Bella liked to carry her Care Bears. So I will be keeping the highlighter. All right, so I have what we're going to call the problematic highlighters. No, just kidding, because the Jeffree Star ones were problematic as well. So I have 3 from Jaclyn Cosmetics and 2 from Lunar Beauty. So these 3 are putty highlighters from Jaclyn Cosmetics. The first one is in the shade Star Power. Then I have the shade Skylight. Man, those look exactly the same. Then the last one is in the shade Iced. I'm going to keep the shade Ice. I like putty highlighters. I feel like with putty highlighters, you do get a better glow. So I'm going to keep the shade Iced. And honestly, the way that these shine, I'm going to keep these as well. I really like this wet glow for summertime. So I will be keeping all of these putty highlighters from Jaclyn Cosmetics. So I have 2 from Lunar Beauty. And even though this packaging is absolutely gorgeous, I probably won't be keeping both of these. So I have the shade Mars, which is a pink highlight. And then I have the shade Jupiter, which I used to use this as a bronzer all the time. But look, so I don't know if it's because it's old or it's because I have discovered better products since using these. But I'm swatching on my pinky and I'm really pressing. And it's okay. It's not swatching the best. I don't believe these are products that Lunar Beauty carries anymore, to be honest. Now this pink one is really pretty. So I'm going to keep the shade Mars. But the shade Jupiter, I'm going to go ahead and declutter. So these are all the highlighters I decluttered. I honestly thought I was going to declutter a lot more. But I mentioned this already as I'm decluttering my makeup. I'm not decluttering, like I'm decluttering things I know I won't use. So things that I'm on the fence about, I can change my mind and declutter them anytime I want. I'm not going to declutter something just to declutter something. I decluttered 10 highlighters out of, I'm sure, a very large number. So let me go ahead and count that up. So I had 65 highlighters. I'm keeping 50 because I'm a hoarder and I love my highlighters. But I am decluttering 10, which is better than decluttering none, okay? I'm keeping products that I love. and decluttering ones I know I won't use. And that is what I've done today. If you enjoyed this declutter collection type video, then go ahead and like and subscribe. I think the next products I'm going to go through might be my eyeshadow palettes. I haven't decided yet. I do know that this week I'm going to have other content going out before more declutters. I still have my organizing video of me organizing all the stuff that you saw me declutter. And then I really want to do a tutorial Tuesday tomorrow. And I also have a first impressions coming on Friday. So until next time, bye y'all.